Welcome back everyone, this is Munchakoopas and we're continuing with our 80% guide for Specter of Torment. We are now entering the flying machine after just having completed the planes, and this is going to be your regular playthrough of the stage, just to get a feeling for what it's going to look like. So flying machine is one of the harder stages, as indicated by the amount of money that you get from completing it. That, however, works in the speedrunner's favor. Being able to pick your stage means that we can make the most of the money that we'll be getting from completing all of the stages. On top of this stage being difficult as it is, we're going to be doing it without any upgrades or weapons. So it's going to be a little more tricky, especially if players are more accustomed to completing this stage later on. One final thing to make this stage much more difficult is that you'll be breaking all of the checkpoints in the current 80% route. All of the money in this stage is far too valuable to ignore. On top of the fact that since you don't have rail mail just yet, you're going to be going much slower, so sidetracking, if only a little, is much less punishing than if you had rail mail equipped. We're already at the mini-boss, which takes 12 hits. The two bomb explosions, I can't tell if they're actually double damage or not, but this setup will get you through quite quickly. Another checkpoint, and we are picking up plenty more skulls here. We're going to be getting Judgement Rush from this stage, which is another reason why we're picking this stage first out of all the nights. And Judgement Rush costs 10 skulls to use, or to unlock from red. Approaching the first Autoscroller. As long as you can get to this Autoscroller in time, it won't really matter what you do throughout the beginning of the stage. There's a small bit of leeway because there's a fan cycle coming up. So if you miss the fan cycle, then you have a little bit more time, but otherwise you're quite pressed. Listen to the music in the stage, and if it's just about restarting by the time you get to the end of the Autoscroller, then you'll know you've caught the first fan cycle. Plenty of gold to be had throughout the Autoscroller. Make sure you don't miss any of it. There is another skull to pick up. Don't accidentally take any damage. Especially because these cannonballs do a full heart, and you would rather not heal. You don't have to engage with Propeller Knight. It's entirely possible to go in with a hit or two on you. And you also want to make sure you do break this checkpoint, 750 gold. Now this room has the first fan cycle. You jump and catch it if the music is in line. Make sure you grab that skull. If you do happen to miss that skull, it's okay. There is a backup skull you can get later on, so don't worry about it. You can continue with your run. In this windy room, there is a trick called alternate jelly, and it's done like so. This is only slightly slower than the other jellyfish strat. And this triple Jawa room has a setup that allows you to easily bypass them. If you do get hit or stopped by any of the Jawas, it's okay, just don't panic, and you can easily continue passing through them. Although it is possible to do this room in 2 fan cycles, it more likely will be a 3 fan cycle room. And lastly, you have some rats to deal with. Just make sure you collect all of the gold on the way. It is quite a lot of money. You'll be breaking the last checkpoint, and if you're really not comfortable, there is food on the bottom right hidden behind that vent. Now the propeller fight is very dangerous and very tricky. He has full damage attacks, and he dances with you just like he would as Shovel Knight. However, the method of beating him exactly as Shovel Knight does is far more difficult, so I settle with something that's a little bit fast, not terribly slow, and then just fighting him the rest of the way down here. Do note that Azulag did find a way to get all but 3 hearts remaining left on him by the time he falls down. Alright, back at it again in full speed. The first room, you're going to want to make sure that as you're walking off this ledge, you are ready to react to the reticle. This is the fastest way to get the most height out of those first 2 dashes. If you strike too early, you're likely to slash on your way down. You won't be able to save yourself from coming back up, but the money is usually recoverable. And as you approach this final platform, you're going to make sure that you cut when you get to the top of it so that you can land quickly if you can. This is a frame saver, so don't worry about it too much because you could just fall down, which would be much worse. And then we're getting up to a ladder skipping trick. Ladder skipping, ladder hopping, also a frame saver, so don't worry about it too much. Just try and... Once again, you tap jump, let go of the ladder, tap left, jump again, tap left, jump again. In this next room, you're going to have another very difficult trick. This is another backwards damage boost. You're going to want to get as close to the left side of this blue pillar of platforms, and this will allow you to more easily recognize that you're holding forward to slide into the jelly, turn left, and then damage boost into the jelly. This is a really, really difficult trick. I usually screw it up. I don't like to go for it if I screw it up too many times in a row. Don't forget to cut as you're sliding, otherwise the damage boost will not go in the direction you're looking for. Now this is a trick that was found by Zonk1. As you walk off this ledge, this green onion, as we call them, will actually be just appearing, and you'll have just enough time and height to cut upwards and then still catch the first one that you left intact. Nice full jump dash attack to get the most benefit off this last beetle, and you're in the next room. Now there's a skull in this room that you're going to be picking up, so I like to go on the top route, just cut the first green onion, grab this 50 gem, jump after a moment, cut the second green onion, and then stay a little bit more to the left so that when you do the cut on the third green onion, it'll actually cut straight through the dirt and pick up the skull. Walk off the ledge, make sure you slash so that you don't stick to the wall, fall off the ledge, and then do an up dash attack on the last green onion. Now here's the first checkpoint you'll be breaking. I like to jump into the room so that I'm already airborne. I can always start my cuts as soon as I enter. It is possible to do this in 2 jumps, but very difficult. SpeedFrog is the one who is most capable of doing that in 2 jumps. And speaking of SpeedFrog, here's another trick that he sort of has coined a term for. This is the block of impossibility. Jumping past this hover haft dude and cutting this block in one swift motion without getting hit is actually very difficult and pretty random whether or not you can make it through or not. By releasing that dirt cloud and doing a dash attack off of it, I've had more success with getting past him. I usually land past the big dark magic pickup. I jump pretty much a full jump, land just before him as he's flying up, and then I wait until I'm right up against the dirt block before I do my slash, and then he usually doesn't hit me, and this is all usually not the case. 50-50. Sometimes you get through a lot, sometimes you don't. I'm sorry, but it's not very consistent. It's something that I tend to go for. SpeedFrog will usually just take the damage and turn the other way, so he damage boosts in the right direction at least. Now, the skull in this room is very easy to pick up because you're waiting on that beetle to get closer. Just drop down, make sure you cut the dirt block. Do not fall in spikes. Jump as high as you can. Wait until you just about can't keep climbing up that wall. Do a dash attack and you'll hit that beetle. There are 2 extra pink gems in that room that you can pick up if you don't care to break checkpoints. And there's another one in this room if you also would rather be leaving some checkpoints in this stage. While you're dropping down, stick to the right and enter that small hidden dark green room if you want that extra pink gem. Now for the mini boss, you're going to want to get to the rightmost side of this platform as quickly as you can. You can do 3 grounded cuts. I had to move a little bit. Just make sure you do 2 more dash attacks in the air. 5 hits so far. Back up a little bit to avoid the explosion. Attack twice to get the bombs over to him. Make sure you do 2 more attacks on the ground, 2 more attacks after the bombs connect, and 1 dash attack and he'll die. Now if you're close enough to the edge when you do get that last dash attack off, you can actually cut as soon as you do the screen transition. You'll be able to hit the checkpoint on the way down. Just make sure that you jump to the left to grab this skull real quick. You can pick up this health if you need to. I always do because it's practically free. And then make sure you ride the wind as much up the ladder as you can. Here's another jellyfish trick. If you jump high and close to this one, you can actually turn around and skip having to interact with all 3 jellyfish to clear this room. Approaching the Autoscroller, just make sure that you try and catch this cannon. And here we are, and have fun. There's nothing you can really do to speed this up. I like to swag out as much as I can. Once again, my Autoscroller swag has been brought to you by SpeedFrog, who was doing quite a lot of shenanigans trying to make sure he didn't even have to touch the ground as much as normally needed to. Just have fun, make sure you get all the money, make sure, above all, that you do not take damage unnecessarily. So once you understand how to navigate through the Autoscroller, just carry on your merry way. Now there is a skull to the right. Just wait until you see the cannonball's animation before you jump over the turret. Pick up the skull and then try to turn around. You have a little bit of time until the ladder is actually grabbable, so you can wait just a moment there. Pick up this gold. Now if you really want, there is 200 more gold that you can get actually through the top. Just do a dash attack to the right onto the ceiling where that cannonball is kind of leading you to, and you'll end up in this room with the pink gem. This room is globally cycled, so that fan will start from the beginning of the stage. So if you happen to know that you're going to miss that first cycle, you might as well go for the pink gem, otherwise don't worry about it. So in this room, if you just drop down and pick up this skull holding right, you don't have many problems continuing to hold right. You shouldn't be afraid of those spikes. You won't actually fly up into them. Now, if you are too slow and the fan does come back, it might pick you up. So just be aware of that so you don't get thrown into the spikes on the way up. Now in this next room, as soon as you enter it, a jellyfish will start electrocuting itself on a cycle. So try and get through as quickly as you can. Now when you get to this part, you're going to want to jump off the dirt block as soon as you possibly can. Let yourself fall off this ledge, getting pushed by the wind. Turn left immediately. Do a wall jump as high as you can and hold right. Make sure you land on the ledge before you stop holding right. Jump, do a dash attack on the green onion. Climb the wall just a little bit before you jump, and then hold right hard, and then you will actually be able to just walk off and do an up dash attack off this jellyfish. That trick is significantly easier than the other trick, the first jellyfish trick found by McPeanuts and Dolfy. Once you enter this room, this is the dreaded triple Jawa room. You don't have to break this checkpoint. However, the reason why it's done is because it sets up the platforms to make it much easier to skip the Jawas and not be hindered by them. The platform that is on the right side of the screen right now, it's actually lowering down. By the time you collect your money and get to it, it'll start coming back up. The Jawa will actually enter the screen in just a moment. Now you can jump up, reach the ledge of that platform, and wall hop off of it. But what I'm doing is actually I'm trying to get a dash attack as soon as the reticle appears. And this allows me to actually whiff them because their fan is blowing me. Now this one got to me before I could actually get the dash attack. So I just do 2 dash attacks to kill him. And this one, as he hits me, I have to take a moment. How am I going to get through this? Well, I'll do 1 attack to damage him, and then I'll let myself lower down so that I can do another attack upwards and get past the room. Triple Jawa is an incredibly dangerous room, so please spend some time practicing this area, understanding how interacting with the Jawas is going to change their behavior and how you can get past them without dying or falling into a pit. Especially because in that room, if you fall down to your death, your money is more than likely not going to be recoverable, and you do need to have essentially all of it to finish the stage. So depending on how long it takes you to get past triple Jawas, this is another globally cycle based fan. You can either get past it really quickly or you will struggle with it. Jumping at full height while on top of the higher platforms will get you past some of the win, and then attacking this beetle and doing a dash attack off of it will get you to completely clear at least that one platform right there. 2 attacks on the dirt block. Jump, be ready for the fan to push you. Hold left to make sure you clear all the spikes. Sometimes the fan will cut off in the middle of your jump if you're too slow. Just trust that the fan will carry you if you keep holding left, unless if it was really late, in which case you could be safer and just wait for another fan cycle. So in this last room, you're dash attacking the first rat, drop down, dash attack the second rat, and as you clear these cannonballs, if you happen to miss that one skull earlier and you're shy, there is a skull directly above you if you take that upper hidden route behind the vent. It is pretty slow, but it is a decent backup if you happen to miss the earlier one. And finally, we are entering the last room. This is the last checkpoint you'll have to break. Do note that if you are not comfortable with the propeller fight, again, there is hidden money all over the place. Get familiar with its locations. But otherwise, break this checkpoint, grab your gem. If you need to heal, go ahead and heal, and then engage the boss. So welcome to Propeller Knight. This boss is very deadly. All of his thrusts do a full heart of damage, and should he lower his head fan, that'll actually do a heart and a half. As Propeller lines himself up, you're going to want to get close to the red mountain in the background. When he starts to thrust, you're going to want to have your scythe attack out. Your scythe has a lot of active frames to it, so if you attack a little bit early when he starts to do his dash, he'll get hit by it on the way over. Then you can turn around and do another attack on him when he is to your left. Hitting him once he's fully stopped causes him to immediately start dashing the other way. So if you can get first 2 hits without him dashing again, you've done it successfully. Then just hit him once on the left, once on the right, and he'll be on your left. He'll take a brief pause, catch up to him quickly, attack him once, and then one more time will trigger his dash. Once he's done that, get to the right, hit him once to move him to your left, and then get into position. He'll come back from his last attack, do an early attack to catch him before he hits you, do one more attack afterwards, then jump and do a dash attack. At this point you've done 5 full hearts of damage. Stay slightly to the left of center. This will trigger Propeller Knight to actually land on the right side of the screen where you'll be finishing the fight. And do a full jump to get over these platforms. Get in position quickly enough and you can actually do 3 grounded attacks before he reactivates. If you get just 2, it's fine, but note that he's going to start doing his thrusting, and every time you hit him when he starts his thrusting, he'll dash immediately. At this point, you're going to have to get familiar with where Propeller is going to be after you hit him, whether or not he's going to thrust the moment you hit him or not. This part of the fight can be very messy. The longer you take, the more likely he is to fly around and do other attacks that are also fairly dangerous. And if you didn't do enough damage to him in the first round, he'll actually start the fight with his head fan attack, which is a heart and a half if you're not careful. Propeller is a very dangerous end to this stage, so do make sure you practice the boss. A lot of the bosses for Specter Knight are very easy, and that's because you'll have your weapons to carry you throughout most of the fight. But at least for the first couple of bosses, until you get the Skeletal Sentry, you're going to have to learn how to do them low percent. Here's the fight once more at full speed. Walk up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Platform falls, move to your left a little bit. Jump over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that we're back in the tower, we have 9,500 gold, 11 skulls. This is exactly what we're looking for. Go talk to Red, do some quick menuing to grab your Judgement Rush, jump down. The Judgement Rush mini dungeon is not difficult. Just pick it up and spam it as soon as you see an attackable enemy on the screen. And make sure that you're holding right. And you can hold left if you want to pick up that 30 gold, but it's not really worth it and not necessary. Now, when talking to Manny, unlocking him is actually pretty tricky, so you're going to have to practice the inputs. Press up, then start to skip the text, start to accept the gold, and start to skip the animation. Do this 3 times, and you will have unlocked Manny. So that's up, start, 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 up, start, 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 up, start, 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 and then Manny will unlock. And that'll wrap it up for the segment of Flying Machine up until the Lich Yard. The Lich Yard is our next target. Make sure you purchase Rail Mail, skate your way over to the Dark Acolyte, and we'll see you around next time. Stay spooky.